Many of the graduates will probably agree that going back to school can be an intimidating prospect. I imagine I'm not the only one that has fond memories of going to class and spending the weekend studying. Correct? Well, that hasn't changed much in college, which brings up the question, why? Why would I want to go through all that effort? There are many answers to that question of why. Many of the popular would be for the money, of course, to advance at work, or to open up new opportunities. Many may agree with these reasons, but there are many others, which can get a little complicated to explain. The reason for me occurred after talking to a fellow student not long ago. The other student got me thinking. The reason for returning to school was as much about the journey as it was about the final destination here today. Many journeys, such as going to school, can be overwhelming, and I can personally attest to that. Looking ahead, when I started, I really wondered why to myself. I said, why do this? That's probably why some journeys never get past that initial planning stage. Looking at that long list of required classes seemed like an impossible mountain to climb. The prospects of taking classes such as physics, chemistry, statics, thermodynamics, and integral calculus seemed almost impossible. The saying goes, the first step of the journey is often the hardest. I don't know if the person that coined that phrase really knew much about going to college, or going back to college. Many classes were tough. I'm sure my wife and daughters would confirm this. Trying to understand the subjects or prepare for the next class or the next test. Of course, this always seemed to coincide with family activities. It wasn't easy, but I survived, and some might even say I excelled. Sometimes the journey is the most memorable, not because of the destination, but because of the events that happen along the way. There's a story about Thomas Edison. In pursuit of a practical light bulb design, Edison may have had as many as 1,000 failures before succeeding with the design that he wanted it to be. What would have happened if he had quit before that last failure? Where would we be now? In reality, each failure was actually another step forward, contributing to the final outcome. Success could not have happened without those failures. We should all learn as well from our mistakes. Rarely does something new work the first time. College is much the same way. Your eye is on the goal, here today graduating. But the focus is checking off the next class of a long list of classes that you have in front of you. During high school, the counselors and teachers repeatedly encourage students to make goals. But making goals isn't so simple, especially when you're 18 years old. Personally, I always felt uncomfortable about trying to define those goals and put them down on paper. Writing the goals down seemed so final. After all, what if I didn't succeed? Did that make me a failure? Later, I realized the main purpose is to help create a path for accomplishing those goals. Defining the goals is only the first step. Don't be intimidated by the journey. You can't arrive at that destination without taking that first step. As I mentioned, my personal reason for returning to school had a lot to do with the journey itself. I had something to prove. Not for anybody else, I had something to prove to myself. Yes, I can do it. Often each of us has expectations for those around us. But more importantly, are the expectations we place upon ourselves. Have you lived up to your expectations? Only you can answer that question. Thank you.